What's up? And welcome to my tutorial on how to get your first pull-up, or how to go from having one or two pull-ups, maybe three, to having five, so that you can meet our standard at Full Steam CrossFit for where the appropriate level of strength is to start learning how to kip. So we're going to go through, we have four kind of steps to get through this process, and obviously you could go further than this if you wanted to get to the point where you could do 10 strict pull-ups unbroken or 20 strict pull-ups unbroken, but this is predominantly what the prereq is to start kipping. So generally this is actually our level 1 standard for what we expect for you to be able to do from the time that you walk in the door to the time that you complete what our level 1 programming is designed to do. So all right, so again, the goal is to get your first strict pull-up or up to your first set of 5. So our first test that we do is a 15-second straight arm hang test. Generally, we're going to accompany this with something like a scapular pull-up. Guarantee you will know what that is if you're working with us. So we want to see a good, stable, straight arm hang for 15 seconds. So what does that tell us? That tells us that you can safely hang off of a bar. That means that you have the correct range of motion to be hanging off of a bar. Tells us a lot of things, and it's not a giant red flag if you can't do that yet. A lot of people, when they first walk in the door here, don't quite have adequate range of motion overhead, or just not ready to hang off of a bar yet, and that's totally fine. So if you can't do that, you notice that little X there. Where we're going to have you work is going to be ring rows, because ring rows are a beautiful pulling exercise that trains the same muscle groups as your pull-ups. So you're building your pulling strength with those ring rows in there, and there are a million ways to make those things harder. And then we're going to have you do some banded hangs and a few other things just to work your way towards being able to do that 15-second straight arm hang test without hurting yourself in the process. If you do check that box, you can do that 15-second straight arm hang, you're going to move down to step 2, which is a 5-second chin over bar hang test. Now this test is much harder because you have to support all your body weight with a bent arm and keep your chin over that bar. So this is where most people are going to hit a hang up, because they just don't have the strength to keep their self up over that bar yet. Now that test is done with you starting at that top position. Okay, so I'm not going to make you pull up and hold it. Obviously, we're going to have you kind of jump into position or just start on a box and just see if you can hang there without coming down to a straight arm position or hopping back onto that box again. So if you cannot do that, which again, this is where a lot of people are going to get hung up, banded chest to bar pull-ups are what we're going to have you do. So we'll strap a band between a squat rack at a very specific height, and we're going to have you pull until your chest touches the bar. Okay, the reason that's so important is it's going to build that strength you need for the end range of your pull-up. You'll see a lot of people that can pull to right here on their pull-up, but can't pull all the way to here. And so while you're trying to build that pull-up strength, doing strict chest to bar banded pull-ups as a strength piece is going to be a really good tool for you to build that top end strength. Now, if you can do that 5-second chin over bar hang test, you're going to move to step 3. You're going to go to the dead hang pull-up test, which is, if I was running someone through this in a day, basically I've just checked off the box that they can hang with a straight arm and they can keep their chin over the bar. So depending on where you're at, I may just skip you straight down to this dead hang pull-up test. But this is, can you hang with a straight arm and then pull yourself up over the bar to where your chin is over the bar? Okay, if you can do that for 1, then we move you to step 4. But if you can't do that for 1, but you can do steps 1 and 2, you're a great candidate for eccentric pull-ups. Now, it's very important that you have steps 1 and 2 checked off before you start doing these eccentric pull-ups, because if you don't have that strength, you can hurt yourself doing eccentric strict pull-ups. So what an eccentric pull-up is you're going to start from the top. So you're going to start from that chin over the bar hang, and you're going to lower yourself down to a straight arm hang over about 3 to 5 seconds. I like to say just as slow as possible. Now, generally we're going to assign that in sets of 3 to 5, and we're never going to give you more than 30 reps of those to do, because they will make you so sore. Because the beauty of eccentric pull-ups, that lowering phase, is where most of the muscular breakdown occurs when you're doing any kind of lift. So on the way down in your squat, that's the eccentric phase of your squat. On the way up is the concentric phase. So you can build a lot of strength just working in that eccentric phase, even if you can't do the concentric phase of the movement yet. So sets of 3 to 5 with 3 to 5 second descent is what we'd have you work on. That's going to be the fastest route for someone that passes test 1 and 2 but can't do a pull-up yet to get their first pull-up. But again, you have to be very diligent. You have to start from that good top position and finish in that good bottom position, or it won't transfer. So step 4, if you can do more than 1, or you can do 1, we want to see how many you can do. And if you can do 5, you've passed the level 1 test for your pull-ups. But if you cannot do 5, we need to have you do more pull-ups. Every week, your goal is going to start, can you get accumulate 10 week 1. Week 2, accumulate 12 to 15. Week 3, accumulate 15 to 20. And you're just going to try to keep accumulating more reps throughout the week until you can link more together unbroken. So basically, you give yourself like a 10-minute window and just be like, I'm going to get as many pull-ups in the next 10 minutes as I can. And that might be 1 or 2, and then just gradually build from there. So once you are able to accumulate more reps, you're going to be basically testing this test every week. So once you can do 5, you've passed test 1, and you can proceed to learning how to kip. Now, the last thought for you guys is, some of you are going to ask me, how can I accelerate this? Well, what we're doing is we're training our pulling muscles. So we're training the muscles that help us do a pull-up, right? So there are a lot of different exercises that you can do on top of pull-ups that strengthen the same muscles that help you do your pull-up. So what I'm going to recommend, if you want to actually accelerate this process, you're really dedicated to getting your first pull-up or increasing your total amount of pull-ups you want to do, then you can add another workout every week where you're just sticking around after class and doing 3 to 5 sets of 6 to 8 single arm rows, or those could be bent over rows with a barbell, all right? And then finishing it off with 3 sets of max bicep curls. And you can do any form of bicep curl you want, but those will help you accelerate the rate at which you get your pull-ups, okay? All right, guys. This is the video for level 1. There'll be one coming up for levels 2, 3, and 4 soon. See you guys.